Hey, welcome to Mandate Ammend, where we look at restoration, having these difficult conversations to clear the air, but also restoring one's mana. And so, our very first episode, we had these amazing men on, content creators, and unfortunately, sincerest apologies, we had a technical audio glitch. And so we tried our best. We tried our best to salvage what we could. I went to several experts and to no avail, we just couldn't fix it. And so apologies to those who couldn't get the full impact or the full essence of the actual episode. But we brought them back. We brought these amazing men back. This time it's about reflection. It's about reaction, but also celebration in terms of what these guys did and keeping the main thing about squashing the beef and restoration and resolution. And so please welcome with me once again, the amazing Kingston, Kissthefloor, Stephen, Setu.
Kia ora. Tēnā koutou. Somebody keep up.
Malo, love Usos. Hey, Usos, I know it wasn't what we wanted or it didn't pan out, but hey, it is what it is. And so thank you once again for coming back on again. And I know this time around, people say, hey, a lot of comments saying, no, it was full of lies. These guys are just making it up. It was just some sort of plan they had all along. And so, but I want us to kind of obviously reflect in terms of the learning on the actual episode. Reactions, obviously we'll put up some reactions on the screen so you can have a bit of a cool. That we can see, okay, what was going on through your mind, your thought process and so forth. But also celebration, because I think people need to know. And I think the greatest thing was that even though they didn't get the full impact, and some people did, unfortunately had to take it down, but it really actually happened. And so for those who didn't get the full impact, I want us to run it back. How did it start? Why did it start? It doesn't have to be for too long. We don't have to sit on that. We don't want to rehash anything. But how did it start for those who like, oh, when was the beginning of this beef? So brothers, we just tell it all, man. We just talk.
You want to go first?
Yeah, who wants to go first?
You can go first if you want.
Oh yeah, I'll probably sum it in a nutshell. Be a lot quicker. Basically, me and Kingston have always had a back and forth for 5 years' time. I would argue that he started it all the time. You know what I mean? But it all stemmed from. There was one point I made a controversial vid online where I was saying, get the fuck out of your feelings and depression is not real. And I was swearing a lot. And Kingston told me that I swear too much. And he said I shouldn't swear, leave the swearing to him. And then, I felt betrayed because I thought me and Kingston were all good and I thought we were all boys. And then, anyways, I replied back to him and then I didn't give him any of my attention. But for 5 years' time, he just constantly kept probing the bear, so to speak, you know what I mean? And then I made a video, obviously the one that went viral, where I talked about his wife. And, in retrospect now, I should have never did it, because he's a good guy, and I feel like, there was no need to bring his wife in it. But then again, no excuses. I was mad. I just wanted to hit it where it hurts and get it over and done with, because, for 5 years it gets you pissed off. And then I did it. And then it blew up to the point where this guy came to my house and, I was up north, giving my girlfriend the work in bed,
With the B&B.
Yeah, she was like, oh, Daddy. Yeah, so, but that's literally it. We're all goods now, I'm glad that Mandate held a home for us to come and talk. I think there's nothing more masculine than a group of men sitting down, well, a two-headed men to sit down and actually talk and use their words. I feel like we've come so far from primal days where we don't need to fight to sort it out, that we can actually sit down and use our intelligence to actually talk with each other. Yeah, so that's what's actually happened. And then we had it all on the audio on the last podcast, and it was amazing chat. It was amazing, but it is what it is. Now we're gonna just rehash. What about you, Kingston?
No, all good. You summed it all up. Pretty much, bro.
Which camera am I looking at? This one.
Yeah, this one.
Camera. Oh, this one. Oh, there. Oh, yes. Yeah.
But then say that, are you sure you want to add anything to that, Kingston, or just?
Nah, I'm all good, bro. It's already done. Yeah. Said and done.
Cool. Cool. And that is, I think, we're back here, obviously reflection, but I know a lot of people were saying it, and I think we touched on it earlier on. Stephen said there's a circus out there. There's people out there who want to know, and people want to see the ugly side. They want you to kind of like, hey, let's just smash each other. Let's just be primal, like you're saying.
Yeah.
Let's do something. Let's get into a fight. I want to see that. I want to see blood. But the cool thing about, like you said, men coming together. There's something special about men coming together and just having the conversation and clearing the air and saying, hey, you know what? We don't necessarily have to agree, but I understand where you're coming from, and so we're good. We don't have to resort to violence. Let's resolve it and let's get everything done with and be men. That's it. Shake hands, respect each other, and you guys did.
But it just shows how pathetic people's lives are. Like, they just got a useless ass life. Like imagine how dreadful your life has to be, that the only way you can get some sort of excitement in your life is at the expense of other people being at your level of happiness. Like, that is a crazy world we live in. And like, I don't have that much time on my hand. I'm too busy trying to make money, you know what I mean? So if they're at home in their bed having a fufu, you know, watching my videos, praying to God that something amazing happens, then they're just going to be a loser for their whole entire existence. So all you losers out there who are trying to say Stephen and Kingston should have a fight, tell you, have a fight with ambition. I said, sorry, guys. Sorry, guys. I'm a little bit annoyed, man. I got locked out of my damn house, man. Fucking hell. Honestly, guys, I was at the apartment today. I was at my apartment and I left too quickly and then forgot to like get the keys, and then I Ubered all the way out here from West Auckland. Man, this is crazy, man. So yeah, a bit annoyed, but it's all good.
Bro, but hey, that's cool. That's cool. I like that. Kingston. Yeah, obviously, you would have been bombarded with a lot of comments as well, similar to Stephen. So
yeah, like even to this day, man. Like in the comment section or whenever I go to live, you're like, we want to see you and Stephen. I was like, fuck, man. Like it's already done and dusted, man. But like I think what Stephen was saying, like everybody wants that kind of reaction, not the reaction that we gave them. And like it's crack up, like they're in the comment section saying like, oh, see, look, they're hugging it out, and we bought into it. Now they're laughing with money in their hands. And I was like, what fucking money? Fuck, this was actual beef, bro. And then we squashed it on that night, but people were thinking like, just because we hugged and embraced each other like real men was meant to be. And then people were like, oh, nah, we still want you to have a fight. It's like people would rather see that rather than two brothers like overcome whatever bullshit happened 5 years ago.
What do you think that comes from? What do you think that stems from? Like obviously, people could say whatever. They go, "Oh, this is planned out." Someone said this comment, and I'm just paraphrasing. Man, these guys must have a lot of money. These guys must see a different level of evil to bring these guys together. To concoct all this stuff together. It's like, man, what the heck? People there's some strange things out there in terms of what people are commenting or saying. Where do you think this all stems from in terms of people wanting to see blood?
I think there's a lot of points to mention. I think one point is because you can't believe everything you see on social media now. And I feel like the quickest way to to get attention now is just rage baiting. Baiting people in with your rage. And or making them rage to bait them in. And I think that's what they thought happened. Because, I mentioned his family, he came to my house. A lot of these stuff, right, seems serious. And then they see us, like, him hugging me. You know what people keep mentioning?
Fuck. We're both hugging.
Us hugging each other. But you know what's crack up though, what I saw from it? They were saying, I don't know how he could fit his arms all around me. And you know what's, like, I saw Kingston's fingers, like, so it looked like they're going to be pulled apart. But I'm glad we're just
getting ready for a flip, bro.
But no, I think that's what it is, man. People just want to fight. And they just want action. And I would argue that it takes more strength for a man to go against their initial primal reaction to sit down and talk. But people don't know that. I would argue an emotional man is a weak man. A man who can't control their feelings is a very weak man. And a safe man is a stoic man. That's why people watch superhero movies. They watch superhero movies because they love it. They love the fact that a superhero can remain stoic in the time of crisis and still win. That's why they love Superman. Like if superheroes were always emotional They wouldn't love it. They would hate the movie. Imagine watching Superman, right? A Superman movie. Somebody says something about him, and then he's like, "Oh man, he wasn't like him," and he starts crying. He's on his knees. People wouldn't want to watch that, right? So no, I just think what me and Kingston did was a good thing. I think we sat down as men and we talked about it, and it's done. It's just people are broke, poor, useless. And that's literally it. Majority of the people have no events in their life that they want to get event from us.
Not at all, Stephen. I love it. And I know you guys, even after that, you guys have been super busy. So tell us, after the whole thing went down, you guys squashed the beef and you guys made amends. What's been happening right now? In terms of, obviously, there's another one that's trying to hit you up already, Stephen.
Yeah, man. This just never ending, man. I don't know what it is, I don't know what it is, because I honestly believe genuinely I'm a good guy. I think when you meet me off camera, I'm like, I feel like I'm a good dude. I don't know what it is about people always coming after me for some strange reason, but I know why though. It's because the quickest way to get views, likes, is to mention my name. That should be actually a thing that they create, like the fastest way to 1 million followers or the fastest way to TikTok to get followers is by mentioning my name. And I think it's become that point now. So, like, you know, when I did the video about me and my girlfriend dancing, you know, people were making TikTok saying, well, if Stephen had got hitched, then finally there's hope for humanity. Thousands of likes. Then I scrolled another one where a guy goes, I can't believe Steven met a girl and here I am single. Thousands of likes. So even to the point of a relationship, you like talking about my relationship gets you thousands of likes. My question to you, Petia, is if they never mentioned my name, would they have got thousands of likes?
I think not. No, yeah. I think that's obviously a good question. I'm thinking most likely not.
Exactly.
And so, and you, because you are the way you are, Stephen, in terms of you're loud, you're boisterous, but also your content, very witty, very clever, and people fail to state that. And I know, as much as they watch your content, they say, man, he's annoying, he's this, he's vulgar. But they can't deny that you're switched on.
Well, I've noticed a lot of people don't debate what I say; they debate my appearance. That's how I know they know I'm speaking facts. If you look at anybody do a response video to me, they respond and say, "Oh, you're fat, you're ugly, pedo." They say all these accusations. They never debate the logics. They never debate the facts, because you can say all the stupid shit. At the end of the day, I'm telling the truth, and you can't debate that. So it's as soon as they go personal and they do a personal attack, I'm just like, yeah, you know, clearly they don't have the brain capacity. I'm just trying to not make this another podcast. I'm just I'm trying to fit Kingston in here.
No, when you're ready.
What's your thoughts as well?
Kingston. Yeah, what's been happening? I know you've been just as busy as well. So after the whole episode. Let us know what's been happening on Kingston.
So I got like a boxing match coming up on June 21st at the ABA Stadium. So it'll be me versus Oni 501. He answered the call out. He said he's keen to throw it down. So yeah, I've just been in training mode in fight camp from the last time I was here till now. So I'm trying to stick to my diet and my training regime. If anybody knows, bro, like if you're a fighter, one of the key points in your training camp is you can't fuck your wife.
Yeah.
You gotta be
semen retention, eh?
Yeah, you gotta. What do you call? What's the word I'm looking for? Shit.
Abstinence.
Abstinence. Yeah. From just until the fight game's finished, and I've done this with my wife plenty of times when I'm in fighting camp.
But she's gonna love it when you win. Because you're gonna have all that. You're gonna have all that masculine,
all that pent up.
You're gonna be like, come here.
Yeah, whatever he said, bro. But yeah, that's all I've been into. I've been getting up to, bro. It's just training up for the fight coming up, which is in June 21st, out in ABA. in Auckland.
Yeah, that's good, man. That's cool. I know you guys are absolutely busy. And going back to what you're saying, Stephen, I know someone else has been trying to have a go at you as well. But it just goes back to that slogan, Stephen. Just leave Stephen.
Yeah, leave me alone, man. Honestly, just leave me alone because I think I'm a good guy at heart. Well, I know, but just leave me alone. Because if you leave me alone, then I'm one of those people that would just do his own thing. But until you do something about me, I have to fight for me because I've always fought for myself. Have you noticed whenever somebody comes out for me, they need a group of other creators to bond together as a band of brothers to come after me? Because I don't. Whenever I go up against someone, I don't go and call another influencer, say, come and back me up. I just do it all by myself. But I feel like there's some sort of credibility to that people love that. Like people comment underneath and say, you know what, respect to Stephen that he's been doing this for over 5 years now, but he's always had his back. He just keeps, responding back. Because the amount of torment that I've went through on this social media app, on social media in general, it's crazy, man. I don't think people could. That's why I laugh when I see like influencers, they do a video where they're like, have you ever seen those videos where they're responding to a negative comment and then they'll say, you think this hurt me? You think I care about what you just said? Well, clearly you care because you made a video. If you didn't care, you wouldn't make the video. And then they turn off their comments because of one comment. I'm like, bro, imagine waking up one day and seeing 3,000 people stitch your video. I've had that happen. When I did a video about Ian Dongi, the guy from American Idol, I remember I woke up one day and my phone overheated because I keep getting notification. My phone kept turning on. Just kept turning on. That I clicked on it and it was just full of people around the world stitching me about this Ian Dongi situation, which I would argue I wasn't even lying, which was the truth. Not to, raise Lazarus again, but I felt like he only won because of his story. And for some strange reason, people thought I was saying like I wanted him to die or something. But that was the fact. He had a normal Islander voice as everybody else. But American Idol really pushed his story about his dad dying, and that's why he won. And people say it wasn't his story. Then I say, okay, cool. If it wasn't his story, name me the runner-up story. Well, I don't know. Name me 5 of the contestants' stories. Well, name me Ian Dongi's story. Yeah, his dad died. Exactly. How'd you know? Because it got pushed. People forget that American Idol is a business. What is a business? You need money to supply it, right? And people make decisions by being emotional. They make emotional decisions. So they knew this would pull at their heartstrings. That's why they push Ian Dongi out there so hard that people will be like, oh, wow, that's so sad. Send $20. Send $40. Vote. It's just all a business. But people got mad at me.
Jeez, man, Stephen, that's in true Stephen fashion. Also, I guess we can just keep yarning and sharing some of the.
Also, I know that we're supposed to. this podcast. I'm so sorry, also because I feel like our last podcast. It's hard. When we did the last podcast, also, honestly, I felt like I really wanted to address the Wolf Kingston, but now it's kind of hard now because weeks have passed, and I'm like. Once I ended a hill of Kingston, he was never in my mind ever again. You know what I mean? And I'm pretty sure that was like him too. We just said, okay, do that move. So it's just kind of hard to try to get back into that zone again. So I'm just trying to, lighten it up a bit.
No, I totally agree with you saying, Stephen and Kingston, because it's been what, I'm going to 3 weeks now. It's past that, and I love it that you guys say, hey, the beef is squashed, it's gone, finished. We don't talk about it anymore. We don't have to go there anymore. But I do like it because I thought I'd bring you guys back in terms of just looking at some of the obviously reflections, but also the reactions. And so maybe we can just revisit. And like I said, it's not about rehashing, but if we can revisit some of the footage that we were able to salvage, and maybe share some of your thought process around what was happening for you when you were sharing this or saying this. And so we look at the screen.
Yes,
Kingston,
sir.
we got you, Kingston, and so we can play this and just maybe your thoughts, Kingston.
Trying to be a positive or like at least a good role model for my kids. Yeah. Show yourself. The last one is, what do you want to be known for as a man? I think with me, I'd rather be a man that's known to stand his ground, 10 toes deep. Yeah. When bullshit comes around, don't be scared to confront her.
And we'll get to the next one as well. We'll get to the next one as well because I think that there's more that we can share.
Because, like, I can take anything that's aimed at me. But then, like, I kind of switched when he mentioned my wife and he mentioned my kids. From that point, I was no longer Kissthefloor. I was no longer Kingston. I was a dad, the husband, because I don't know, he might not understand what it's like to be a dad or to be a husband. But like when someone aims for your kids, man, like that's a low blow. Like with anybody that calls me out, I don't mind calling me out. But the moment you add my wife or my kids to the mix, it's a low blow. So the way that I reacted in the heat of the moment. I just had rage in my eyes.
Kingston, after watching that, tell us also because I don't, like I said, it's not about us rehashing the incident, and obviously the episode is long gone now. But
Yeah.
Just your thought process and what's happening for you there when you're kind of sharing that, because I think it's important for people when they see this, like, oh, what's happening for you? What's the in terms of the process, the thought process?
Oh, fuck, I don't know. Like just watching that, looked like I really had like baggage on me that I needed to release. So like looking at that, it was like more like just a guy that's reacted in the heat of the moment. I mean, like right now, I'm like, I can't relive that. All right, like what me and Steven were saying, like what we did on that night, we squashed it, it's done. So like watching that back, it's kind of hard to try and relive or try and go back to that point. Because like at that point, bro, the way I was feeling, bro, was more like I didn't want to do the podcast and like what Steven was saying and react the old school way is like, fuck, I'm not here to talk, bro. Like you talk shit, fuck, that's us, one out. So like that was how I was raised in Otara, was like if someone had a problem, bro, that's the only way to squash it. But then like as I'm getting older and I'm a dad now and I'm a husband, like I can't do that anymore because my son is getting older and my kids are getting older too. Like the last thing they want to see is their dad like having a fight and you're like nearly 40 years old. So like my thought process on that night was more like, I just don't give a fuck. Like I just want to handle it the way that I used to handle it back in the days. And like, look, to where I'm at now is more like, I'm glad I got everything off my chest. I'm glad I let everything on the table because when I left that episode, I left a lot lighter. Me and Steven are on good terms now. It's safe to say I don't mention your name anymore, brother. So yeah, yeah, that was my thought process back then to where it is right now.
And also, I just wanted to quite curious, Kingston, when during the episode or during the conversation you decided, because you were saying, man, I just want to, man, just I'm here, but I just want to fight. I see blood. When during the episode or during the conversation you felt like, nah, this is actually good. When during the actual conversation?
I was, to be honest, bro, I was more like later towards the end of the episode. So like, I didn't come in here with a good heart. I had my own intentions of what I wanted to do. So like when we sat down and had the Talanoa, I was in two minds. Like I didn't want to listen. I didn't want to listen to you. I didn't want to listen to Steven. I just wanted this over and done with. It was kind of like just going through the motions, but like as time went by, and I just kept thinking about my wife, she was like, "This should be good. Get this over and done with. That way you can move forward." And then I don't know, like, because my wife, she's a stubborn woman, bro. And like we have our stubborn ways, so like we both don't want to listen to each other. But then like at times like that is when my wife's voice pops in, and I'm like, oh shit, yeah, like I'm getting too old for this kind of shit, man. Like I'm a husband and I'm a father too, so the proper way to squash this beef was actually sit down and just let the emotions go. Because I can't like leave that episode and still feeling like shit. Like, because on the way here, bro, I was like, fuck, man, I just want to gripping on the steering wheel, bro, and blasting my music. I'm like, oh, fuck, man, I want to hype music, bro. Yeah. Put on some fucking Lil Jon or something like that. So on the way here, bro, I'm hyped because, like, I just want to, I just want to lull someone, bro. But then, as the time went by, and I'm just like, I can't keep doing this, bro. Like, I can't go back home and tell my wife, like, oh yeah, everything's good, but really I'm like, fuck, it wasn't. So like to answer your question, man, like, it was, I started feeling more at ease, or my emotions changed near the end of the episode. So like with me, it takes ages for me to get over stuff, and yeah.
Wow, man, it's powerful. So was it something that Stephen said that kind of like the defining moment, like, no, I don't need to do this anymore. I'm not here to, let's just restore, let's just resolve. Was it something that Stephen may have said that, obviously you said your wife, but
I think it was just a misunderstanding. That's why I think me and Kingston just never had time to sit down and actually talk, because a lot of people that was painting the narrative were the fans. So that's the reason why. And it was just so there's Kingston, there's me, and then there's this divider. And that divider was never removed for 5 years. That divider was always there. But I feel like as soon as you removed the divider, he was able to listen, and I was able to listen to his side. Then we realized, shit, a lot of this is not that deep. And then we sort of understand each other's story. I understand why he reacted this way, and he understands why I reacted my way. And it was only until then, because I remember I was talking to Kingston in our interview where I was like, I was sticking up for you. I was trying to look out for your wife. Because there was a situation where the person called me and tried to give me the rundown on his wife. And I was with my ex at that point. And basically I said to her on the phone, and I said, why are you calling me, mate? Like, don't give me this shit, you know? So, and also as well, I got given the information about his wife last year in October, and I could have made a video about it, you know? That's where you show where my heart was at. Like, you can give me benefit of the doubt for that, because that could have been easy likes. That could have been easy views. You know what I mean? But I held on to it. And for me to hold on to that sort of information while still getting hit by Kingston, that shows the character within my own morals. Because I could have been like, oh no, fuck this guy, man. You know, it's just that. But I held on to that information for 3 to 4 months. So, and the reason why is because before there's Stephen Setu, the persona, there's actually Stephen Setu, the person. And I was just like, the not to sort of relive it, but the information I heard is information that should be just kept between him and his partner. And not the world doesn't need to see that. You know what I mean? So this is somebody who has, it's like the weak kid in school finally has information about the bully, but he holds on to it because he cares about the bully. And I felt that way as well. I was like, man, why do I have my mom's heart, man? Because like I could have just easily, but I was like, no. So even when I made a reply to him, I was like holding my tongue. I was like, I can't go in more. So it's just, I don't know. I think once Kingston saw my heart and probably, you know, he could hear me, I feel like he reasoned with himself and said, yeah, well, nah, I actually didn't think like that. You know, I didn't see it from that side. But I get it though, because it's hard to think when you got people in your comments saying, oh man, are you gonna just let him slide with that? He mentioned your wife and your kids. He mentioned your wife and your kids. She mentioned your wife and your kids. Now they're probing on his masculinity and saying, how can you let your wife and kids get away from that? Talk trash about your wife and kids, wife and kids. They didn't really care about his wife. They didn't really care about his kids. What they're really saying is, we want to see a fight.
Action, yeah.
That's what so they're virtue signaling, they're virtues signaling. Did I say signaling? Anyways, that word. Ling, Mr. Ling. But they're doing that, right? They're trying to weaponize virtue against you. It's like when people come after me. You know, when I did the video about Iam Tongi, just to go back to it, people said to me, how dare you? So they're Polynesians. They look like me. They got the Polynesian nose and everything. They would say, how dare you put another Polynesian down, Stephen? Aren't we supposed to be polys for polys? You bloody fat shit. I'm like, bro, I'm a Polynesian too. You see what I mean? They weaponize virtue. It's like saying, oh, this guy's a racist. He's a racist. And then get angry at their dairy owner and say, you curry muncher. You can't pick and choose what racism is. You can't pick and choose what, like, I'm trying to be an advocate for polys and then put me down. It's either you're all in it or you're not. You know, so I feel like a lot of people, they do that. They just weaponize virtue. They're trying to probe at his masculinity and say, bro, if you do nothing about it, you're a bitch. You're a bitch if you do nothing about it. So a lot of it would say, I would think that Kingston was, yeah, he was doing it for his wife and his kids, but I didn't think I'm wrong where I'll say, I think he also did it to prove a point to those haters saying, I'm no bitch. Like, I'll show you. I'll show you what's up. So, but that's what happens. A lot of that happens when you got the fans in your ear all the time.
That's a good point, man. Because I can imagine Kingston and Stephen, the ego,
yeah,
just kind of stroking the ego,
right,
the pride, and say, hey, you're not a man, and you need, okay, I need to defend my family, all those things they might be saying to you, and all that, and all those comments. And I agree with what Stephen's saying. Most times they don't care about your wife. They don't care about the kids. Yeah. They just want to see what they want, and they want to see a bloodbath. And so, and what you're saying, I agree, Stephen.
But yeah, sorry, brother. Just to say this before it runs off my mind. It's like, you know, the accusation I've talked about pedophilia and that, right? People would make whole TikTok pages accusing me to be a pedophile, blah, 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 blah. And then when people do get charged of being a pedophile, like that Rolly guy on TikTok, when they do get charged, and there's proof, there's physical, literal evidence that you can search that would say that this guy's a rapist. Those same people that made videos about me saying I'm a pedophile are silent. They're quiet. Why are you not giving them the same energy that you gave to me? I thought you were all about, hey, rape is bad. Oh, it's only bad if it's attached to Stephen. Oh, so you're weaponizing virtue. So you don't really care about people getting raped. You don't really care about pedophilia. You only care when it's attached to Stephen. And this is how it is with the internet. If they try to weaponize virtue against you, they say you're a misogynist, you're a misogynist, you're a misogynist. Yet they're a monster to their women at home. But it's easy to throw stones at somebody who lives in a glass house, because once you're a social media influencer, everything you do is bad. It's like if I say a lie, I'm going to hell. But everybody tells a lie. You know what I mean? Like if I cheated on my partner, that's like, oh, that's bad. Bro, you go to South Mall, everybody cheats on their partner. You know what I mean? You go to anywhere around the world, they cheat around their partner. But you know what I'm saying? It's like they will emphasize you because they feel like a person that amass a lot of following should be able to behave better. That makes sense.
No, it makes perfect sense.
And then in the terms of me and Kingston, I was picturing like a fight. You know, like after school, all the kids get together and they make a circle, and then the two people are fighting. Those two people are only fighting because they don't want to be called a bitch from the people that are watching. The beef now has stopped. They're just in the middle going, come on. And those people holding the phones going, come on, G, knock them out, G. Come on. They don't care. They just want to see entertainment. We are the roosters that are fighting in the barn, and they're chucking their money betting to see who wins. That's all it is. But we ain't going to get controlled by you. We're the influence here. We influence you. It's the other way.
Man, this Stephen, man. Just obviously we, just the conversation, and I like what you said in terms of persona. You talk about social influence, the ego, pride. We can talk about all that stuff, and people egging you on to do these things because they want to see this and that. And you mentioned something about the persona versus the real person. You said this is the persona of Stephen Setu, or Kingston, or Kissthefloor versus the real Kingston, the real Stephen Setu. I think a lot of times people who are watching, they want to see this, your content influencer or content creator, people have this real delusional, or not delusional, or maybe they just see the content, but they have no idea in terms of who the actual person is. And so you said something about Stephen's heart, the heart of Stephen. And because there's a clip there, Stephen, that really depicts your heart, it conveys your heart. And so I want to show you this because I know people think, oh, Stephen, this guy's always, or Kingston, this guy, he swears and all this and that, he's so loud. But this is why I see the person, not the persona. If we can just play that clip, and Stephen, just tell us what's happening for you, because I feel like I missed this important part, Stephen, because I think it was really showing a side of you that I know we talk about. Stephen he won't show that much emotion online or on air, but I feel like there was a part where, man, Stephen Setu, not the content creator came up, but the actual individual.
Do you remember the part?
Yes, do you remember the part?
I remember my voice broke in it.
Oh man,
I hate it when my voice breaks in a podcast.
Oh, man, it was. I'll tell you, Stephen.
And I
you're the star.
just want to know that.
It doesn't sound like a.
Honestly, whenever it breaks, it's like, damn it. Because I always try to remain composed, you know? I always try to remain composed. Like, I believe as a man, if you cry, like you should shed tears but never cry. But that's a whole nother thing. Do you want me to comment on this one?
Yeah, comment on this one. Yeah, what's this?
I'm built for this. Bro, I've been through so much pain, bro, but pain has motivated me. I feel like if anybody went through the shit that I went through, they would commit suicide. Because the pain that I've went through is real. I stand strong. You know what I mean? I'm just different, bro.
Yeah, it was that.
I remember that. That's the actual clip, Stephen.
Yeah.
Also, tell us, because I tell you, and I'm sorry also, because I feel like I missed a golden opportunity, because like, man, it's like I didn't see that.
That's all good. Also, it's because we had the cover bowl. So we were so busy passing that bowl that we forgot about the whole thing.
but tell us, because I felt like there was a part we actually missed, and there was a Stephen Setu moment that we actually missed. Also, what was happening? Because I felt like, man.
I know what you're saying. I think it's just because a lot of times people think that we influencers don't have emotions, and they feel like we should just naturally be able to have thick skin because it's part of our job. It's part of what we do, not knowing that we are human beings just as much as you. You know what I mean? And I think in that moment when I was sharing that part it's like my whole empire was literally built on being bullied. If you really think about it, I would argue nobody would know who I am if I never got hated on. The haters did more for me than my fans ever did. So I was built from pain. Stephen Setu's brand was built from pain, which is now beautiful now because I can do things that not many people can do. I can push boundaries not many people can. The followers that I have see Stephen as real. So I can say anything or do anything now, which is a blessing. But to get to that level, I went through hell, man. Like nobody has been through the shit that I've been through. And I would say that, and this is for real. Like, because when I first came into the scene into TikTok, the only reason why Steven Setu is known is because I do everything the opposite of what a Polynesian does. If you think about it, majority of Polynesian social media content creators, they all do the same thing, which is comedy skits. That's all. Uscan, Chris Tavita, Jaden Lane, Terrell Tuffer, Uso Jax, Fats, they all do comedy skits. But there was only one guy who's not probably the most attractive guy, you know, because I feel like pretty privilege exists when you're kind of good looking and hot and you have six-pack abs and you say, everybody sucks. They're like, oh, he's so sexy. You know what I mean? Like, I believe pretty privilege exists, right? But then you got this guy who's overweight, who wears shorts, sandals, and a shirt, who's screaming in front of the character, calling everybody out, swearing to the top of his lungs, not appearing as a Polynesian, because the Samoan notion is you have to be humble, quiet, you can't swear online, you can't talk about your pee, you can't say things and stuff like that, right? So I pushed the boundary in every metric. So when I came online, people said, who the hell is this guy? That's the only reason why I feel like people know me. It's because if somebody says, who does comedy skits, it would be hard. You would have to ask the question, I don't know. Can you be more specific? Because there's tons of people that does comedy skits. But if they say, who's that fat guy that talks a lot of shit online? Who's Steven Setu? So while everybody is competing, I'm in domination because I'm running my own lane. So that's the reason why people just know me. And it's great because when I first started, everyone hated me. Like when I say hated, I mean hated. But I would say now people actually love me now. Like to the point when they watch my video, that's Steven. What is Steven up to? You guys are probably like that TPT as well. Where you'll see me getting dragged online or I'm doing another video, probably look at your wife and you're like, Steven's at it again. It's Steven, you know what I mean? So I don't know, man. I think it's beautiful, like what I've went through. The battle scars that I went through are the very same battle scars that God shines the light through. So I'm so thankful that I went through every negative spot because it made me who I am today. You know, you need hot air and cold air to create a tornado. And that's what I am, just a tornado of madness. But I'm amazing at it. Like it's just, so I'm in this situation now where I can't be stopped. I love it. I can say whatever I want. Yeah, it's just, everything happens for a reason, man. Everything happens for a purpose. And you know what? I'm going to say this, right? Can I just drag on this? When people say they get a calling from God, it's supposed to come to you in a positive way. That is the most bullshit I've ever heard. You know when people say, I don't think this is from God because we're going through this. I don't think this is from God because it feels negative. Well, then tell me a story in the Bible where somebody got a calling from God that it went good. Do you think Noah thought it was from God when he was building an ark and his children were inside the ark and it smelled like shit and the wife is probably like going, my husband has gone crazy. My daughter needs to sleep next to the horse that's pissing over there. This ain't from God, but it was from God. Do you think Mary said it was from God when she had to go and meet up with a random guy named Joseph and they were sleeping in the barn to give birth? He probably never thought it was God. Ruth lost her husband. She never probably thought it was from God. Moses had to go and kill somebody. He never thought it was from God. Jonah got swallowed from a whale. He never thought it was from God. When is it from God? I would argue that the negativity you go through is from God. Because it's only through struggle we know where life is. If there was no struggle, we would never know what redemption is. If there was no crucifixion, there would never be a resurrection. This is what I truly believe in. You need to go through struggle and you need to go through pain to see what it's like on the other side. And the only reason why I'm basking in the sun now is because I was fighting it when I was in the rain. And some people, they die in the rain. They take their life in the rain. They stay in the rain, but I never did. And that's why I'm here. And this is why I feel like I am arguably one of the strongest New Zealand content creators, just content creators in general. Because I've had it all, man. I've had my family even told me to stop because people are sending them death threats. And they're saying, son, you got to stop. Now I'm making money. They're saying, you got to go. Keep going. So my advice is to anybody out there is if you're going through pain, probably that's the best place to be. Because I believe that everything beautiful comes from pain. Everything beautiful comes from pain. You have to go through the struggle to survive. So this whole therapy, this whole counseling, this whole thing where people are saying, don't feel your pain. Don't feel it. Nah, bro, feel it, man. Like if God came to me and said, Stephen, I can remove all the pain from you right now, I would say, no, leave it on me. I want to feel what it's like to be human. Don't rob me from getting through that pain. I want to get through that fucking pain because that's how you grow. You don't run away from pain. Stay in it. That's where you're supposed to be. You know that girl that broke your heart and you're in pain from it? Get a reward from it. What are you going to do? Fucking just die in your depression because you're sad because she broke your heart? Well, then let her win. You got to keep going. You got to keep moving in that fucking pain. So this is what I say, but people don't like to hear this shit. They say, Stephen, you don't believe in mental health. How can you say that you don't believe in mental health? Okay, you preach therapy. I'll preach human resilience because that's what I believe in. I say this because I have come through this fucking shit. So I tell this so people can see it too. You know what I mean? But it's strange because people think that I don't care about you when I fucking care about you. You know what I mean, Uso? That's why I'm just saying it just fucking pisses me off all the time because I feel like I always have these fucking conversations with people. Like every time I go on a podcast, people say that I frown on people with mental health. I frown on people with depression. But then if you really hear what I'm saying, am I? Like I'm not. Like you're give them medicine. I'm telling them to go inside. Like it's strange. It's just annoying, bro. It fucking pisses me off that there are people out there that don't believe in the human resilience where I believe in it, and I will always preach to the end of time. Like when I said depression wasn't real, New Zealand Mental Health told me to take the video down. Like that's crazy. Like what's your thoughts on that? What's your guys' thoughts on that? Do you guys believe in mental blockers and all that bullshit?
Mate, I'm still stuck on the launga. Man, just like, obviously what we just kind of saw in the reaction, you're very, very passionate. And it seems like what I saw there, Stephen, there's a part where you went sentimental, very sentimental. And you said that you've been mocked, you've been bullied, all this stuff. And for me, I'm thinking, man, it takes a unique individual to bounce back from that. Because like you said, if you're in that space and people are just trolling you and just talking bad about you, receiving death threats,
yeah,
I don't think too many people can withstand this. Oh man, I can't do this. They either stop or like.
Getting death threats personally, like if Kingston got death threats, that's fine. If I got death threats, that's fine. But when the death threats go to your family members, you can't, no matter how strong you are as a person, you can't go into their body and give them your mindset. And I say opinions only matter from people who you love and respect. So like, if my family are coming up to me saying, I'm worried, I'm scared, son, I don't know what's happening, like, can you stop this? It takes it to a whole new level, and you have to try to be the rock for them whilst you're also trying to be the rock for you. Because you're already dealing with it. But now that your family are getting hit by proxy, now you have to look out for them as well. So now you have to try to be the savior for everyone.
Man. That's you guys, both of you. I think obviously we're talking about the resilience. You mentioned just the mental, and I wanted to ask in terms of the mental capacity as content creators. You talked about persona versus the real person, the real Kingston, the real Stephen. Guys, what does it mean to be in this space? In this space where you have to deal with this all the time. You're content creating, and like you said, Steve, you're doing it every day. How do you cope with all of this? Like, how do you cope with all this? obviously we just look at the reactions and we hear kind of talk about the reflections of what happened at the first episode. But I'm more so like curious to like, how do you guys cope with this? Because it takes a special individual to deal with all of this and say you're resilient. Not too many people can do that. How do you guys do that?
How do you deal with it, Uzo?
I don't even know I don't even know the answer to that, bro. I think with the way that we were raised was like through thick skin, having thick skin. You know, like back in the days when we went to school, bro, getting mocked. You always had a one-liner back. You got to mock them back. Especially from the school that I went to, is like the era of thick skin. But then when you come to this generation now, bro, like you say a mock, bro, and they're like, it's like they can't handle it. And then like when it comes to comments, bro, like there's some comments that I see like in my videos, bro, like it's like I want to tell them like, oh, I've heard of better comebacks than that, or go Google up your comebacks, bro, and then come back after. But then it's like they need a reaction. So like with me, when I'm reading, I'm like, oh, because I'm my own content creator, I'm an influencer or whatever you want to fucking say. I have the power over my own page. So like, you have a choice to delete that comment or not. And like, I think some people, bro, they read the comments and it weighs heavy on them. And with me, like I was saying earlier before, like I don't mind getting shots targeted at me, but like when it's addressed about my wife and my kids, that's a different story. And like what he was saying before, like you can't try and
you can't go into their body.
You can't go into their bodies and say like you can't give them your mindset.
Even if you tell them,
if you tell them and stuff like that. But like with me, when my wife was getting like bombarded with a lot of messages in regards to my infidelities, and she couldn't handle it because she's not a social media person at that time, and she couldn't cope with it, and then I could see that it was weighing heavy on her. So for me was to divert all that fucked up energy and then turn it into boxing. So when I issued out that call out, it's just to divert all that ugly energy from my wife and my kids and put the tension back on me. Because with me, like, and I'm sure Steven's the same way too, like, we're fucking built different. So like he's built in his lane, I'm built to my lane. And like when things are not aimed towards me, like any hate, like I can take it, bro. But when it's directed to someone that I love, I have to do something. And especially for my wife, because she's never been in that position before. And I've been in the content game for like 5-6 years. So like I know what the content game comes with. It's a lot of cons than pros. So with me, yeah, like the Kissthefloor that you see online, that's what I want you guys to see. But people don't see what I do behind closed doors, what I do with my wife with the op shop, what we do with our community meals and stuff like that. It's like people don't see that because I choose not for them to see that. But when people do come across that sort of content, they're like, oh, I'm not used to this kind of Kissthefloor. And with me, that's me being Kingston, trying to show my kids and my wife, like, there's more to life than me doing content. So like when you see me like through your For You page, whatever, and I'm screaming my head off, that's Kissthefloor. But what Kingston is behind that is just a guy that goes and does his shopping with his wife and his kids, helps out with the op shop out there in Onehunga. Tōwai, if you guys are in the area, please stop by. That's our op shop right there. We give out deals for those that are less fortunate. Like we run community meals every Tuesdays in the afternoons for any Tom, Dick, and Harry. They popped in. They have a shop around. There's a feed right there on the table. Like just help yourselves. We already know like times are tough, and some of these families, bro, they're struggling with like the normal things that people will get, which is baby clothes. Come down to the shop, bro. It's all 50 cents, $1. We got a special filler bag for $5, bro. You just fill up as much as you can, bro. There's no weight limit to it. So that's me behind closed doors. That's me behind Kissthefloor. And I choose to do it like that because in a way, I love the attention of Kissthefloor, and I love being the guy that talks shit all the time in his car. But that's not me as a person. And I think people, when they see me in person, they expect me to be Kissthefloor. And I was like, I don't swear every day. I don't swear when I'm having a shower. I don't swear brushing my teeth. I don't swear having sex with my wife, only sometimes. But I'm not like that every day, bro. Like, I'm not like that, bro. I'm like, I'm just a guy that's been there for my kids, take my son to his footy, take my daughter to her dance classes and everything like that. And
Man,
yeah, fucking amen.
yeah, bro, it needs to say, yeah, there's a segment, a part there I was going to say amen and hallelujah, but I appreciate what you're saying, Kingston, in terms of this is obviously Kissthefloor, but this is the real Kingston is, and I appreciate that you kind of mentioned that the op shop and your family man, your dad. But for both of you, is there ever a time where you felt like you were blurring the lines, like, oh man, I'm the content creator every day now, every time, instead of like going back to the actual Kingston or the actual Stephen?
I think there's elements in truth in everything. I feel like, yeah, social media is a persona, but that is a part of me. I feel like there's multiple Stephens out there in the ether. Somebody could say, yeah, Stephen is this very devout Christian who knows his Bible, very smart and intelligent. And then there's another person that says, oh, that's that loudmouth that always talks a lot. There's another person that says, oh, he's evil. There's another person that says he's the most kind person in the world. So yeah, I take it. I feel like I'm everything. I'm a coloring book, and that's a beautiful thing. I'm a rainbow, not the rainbow community, but you know what I mean? I'm multifactorial. there's so many things about me, and that's beautiful. Like, I can knock you out, pray for you, forgive you, take your girl, and then call her out. That's me. I've you know, that's me as a person. And that's a beautiful thing. Like, Petia, I can guarantee you're not this guy every time. You know, your wife sees a different you that we don't see. Your kids see a different you that we don't see. When you're with your boys alone and you guys are having beers or whatever, that's a different Petia. So there's a different version of us everywhere. The only thing is, the comical side of me is amplified on social media, because in order to have life and longevity on social media, you need to garner attention. So that's amplified. And so when people say that I'm dumb, I'm like, if I got you angry, I did my job. If I got you to stitch my video, I did my job. If I got you to share my post, I did my job. Everything that you see was thoroughly investigated by me before I uploaded it. You see what I show you. So if you're going to make an assumption on my whole entire existence by a 1-minute video TikTok, then you're a fucking idiot. Because there's more to life than that. Now, we have to go back into what you were saying about how do you handle the thing. For me, I don't really, like, how I feel doesn't stop me from completing my objectives. Like, I felt like shit when I was leaving the house and I got locked out of my apartment door. And my keys are in there, and I couldn't drive my car. But I knew I had to be here, so last minute I called an Uber and came here. But right now I'm like, fuck, I feel like shit, because I left my keys in my house. Then after this, I have to Uber back home, call a locksmith, which is probably going to be another $400 to go and open up my fucking door. Anybody that got in my situation would have messaged you and said, also, we can't do tonight, something popped up. But that's not me. I'm not a bitch. All I have is my word and my balls, and I don't change it for nobody. If I say something, I have to follow through. Despite how I feel, my feelings don't matter. My feelings don't matter. I got a duty to God to complete the mission. That's why I said, even like, I'm not trying to up myself, but like, if let's say my whole family got blown to smithereens, I still would be here having a conversation, and I would tell my family I'll be back after my podcast, because it's my duty to complete what I said I need to complete. My feelings don't play a part. Like, I don't care how sad I am. I'm still going to wake up, still going to perform, still do my content, and still create my... That's what I'm going to do every day. I'm going to feel sad. Oh, well, boo-hoo, move. And I feel like the Western world, they emphasize so much on feelings. Like, you look at Robin Williams, right? This guy was probably... He's a millionaire. He could buy sex. He has he's the 1% of richest, like he has a millionaire. But you look into his life story, he went to counseling for 10 years. And have you been to counseling? When you go to counseling, they don't give you answers. They don't give you personal advice. They can't give you. They lay out options. And the way they lay out options is by asking you questions for you to come up with the answer. So that way you heal yourself. So can you imagine going 10 years to counseling to a person where you have to keep repeating the same shit that you went through? Man, if I went through that for 10 years, I would hang myself. Imagine going into therapy every single time. So tell me, how did it feel about when you got molested by your dad? Yep, go back into the emotion. Next week, you go back to therapy. You know, let's go back. How did you feel when you got molested? And then you go back home, come next week. So did you heal that molested person? That's what therapy does. If Robin Williams came into my facility, I'll be like, bro, you're a millionaire. You're a fucking famous actor. Nobody has your bloody life. You're in the 1%er. You're the fucking man. Get the fuck out of here. Don't be a disappointment to your family. Keep going. And I promise you would still be alive today. That's what I would have said. Like, you have to remind them who they are in the middle of struggle. And a perfect depiction of this is Jesus. When Jesus got sent to Pontius Pilate and to the point of crucifixion, everybody wanted Jesus to get crucified. And Pontius Pilate said that I could save you from all the suffering. You just have to deny who you are. And Jesus, being bloody, being worn down, being spitted on, being betrayed, he looked Pontius Pilate in the eyes and he said, I can't. I am the I am. You got to remember who you are in the struggle. The reason why I don't fault is because I know I'm Stephen Setu. I owe it to my bloodline to remain the man. My ancestors had to fight saber-toothed tigers. They had to go and protest against colonizers. They had to die in ditches for what? For me to lie in bed and act like a bitch? Like I want my ancestors to look down at me and say, I didn't die in vain. That's why I'm trying to say to people, it's like, you're not fighting just for you, you're fighting for your whole bloodline. For you to sit around and do nothing and lie in bed and be depressed is a literal spit in the face of your ancestors that had to fight to keep their fucking lineage alive. Imagine your ancestors going through hell, and only to 2,000 years later to make somebody in bed lying there wanking his fucking cock, depressed on the benefit, saying, I can't do anything with my life. Well, you're a disgrace. You're a disgrace to your fucking bloodline and you should be ashamed. And I don't operate in that fashion. That's what's always driven me to be the best version of me. So I just try to tell people that feelings don't really matter, because you can find someone that will care about your feelings for 10 minutes. You can find somebody that will care about your feelings for 1 hour. But the 23 hours of your life, you have to deal with that shit. When you die, people are going to cry. They're going to mourn you. But then now they're thinking about washing their dirty undies in the laundromat. They're thinking about they have to get the kids school lunches. Life moves on, mate. That's it.
So, man, just obviously it was supposed to be reflection, reaction, and we're just getting a whole lot of other stuff and some really good stuff. And also, you're gonna get some people, regardless, and you already know, you both know this. People are gonna go, man, Steve, what is he talking about?
You remember when I mentioned the ADHD? Sorry, also, you remember when I mentioned the ADHD in the last podcast? Did I mention it in your podcast or another podcast?
I'm not too sure.
I said ADHD and mental illness only exist in the Western world. It never exists somewhere else in Africa or something out in Russia. I shared this before. There was a little white kid that was jumping on top of the stairs to the bottom. He kept jumping upstairs to the bottom, upstairs to the bottom. Then the mum, a white lady, goes, Timothy, make sure you walk down the stairs properly. And he goes, fuck up, mum. He jumps from upstairs downstairs. So she goes and grabs her husband. The husband comes back and says, Hey, you heard what your mom said. He's still jumping from downstairs to upstairs to downstairs. So the mom and the dad look at each other and they say, maybe he has ADHD. I think we need to go to the doctors. They go to the doctor's like, yeah, he has ADHD. I could have solved that problem with a jandal on his face. If my kid was jumping from upstairs, downstairs, downstairs, I'm like, Teddy, try it again. Hurry up. Jump down now. I promise you he would be walking down going, yes, Dad, I'm walking. Where's the ADHD? Like literally, that African kid that's walking to his village 6 kilometers down the road with a bucket on his head, walking to a well to grab water to his village, that 5-year-old African kid, least supplies, least education than anybody here in the Western world. You don't think that, when have you ever seen an African kid go like this to their mom? Mom, I don't know, but I have ADHD. When? He just shuts his mouth and he gets the water. But they want you to identify with something, because once you identify with something, you believe it. Like I shared this before. I had a boxing match with someone and I broke my hand. And before I would just still box, even with a broken hand. But until I did some research and they said, you got to rest your phalanges, you got to make sure you ice it, you could have, arthritis. All of a sudden I say, oh, I can't box today because the internet said, it's the exact same thing with cancer. Somebody could have cancer in their body and live for 10 years until they find out they're diagnosed, they're dead in 2 months. Because once you identify with something, you believe it. If somebody told me I had cancer, I'll say, who told you? Did God tell you? And if they said, no, that it's in our bloods, well, that's what the bloods are saying. God told me by his stripes I'm healed. But it just says what it is, man. People like to identify with stuff so they can cope.
Oh, man, Stephen.
Sorry, Kingston.
No, but
Bombs here, brother.
Yeah, but I tell you, Stephen, it is like, obviously we kind of, you just got a bit of a sidetrack, but also it is like I said before, it takes a unique individual to do, or individuals to do what you guys do. And not a lot of people can do that. And like what you said, Steve, you said, this is my vocation, this is my calling, God has called me. And you obviously, you know your word, you obviously you spend time, you're a believer and so forth, both of you. And so I just wanted to, because you talk about mental capacity and ADHD, all that kind of stuff, but also just wondering, because there was a time when I saw that you were looking quite sensitive at that time. I don't want to touch on that for too much. But I just wanted to ask one thing, because I'm very curious about this thing, Stephen. Will some of that, Stephen, the persona, the content creation, will there be a slight change when you decide to get married and have kids?
The thing is, who says I'm not married and I don't have kids? You know what I mean? But it's just the internet. You can't give out your personal life, right? So would the most controversial person in New Zealand tell people that he's married and have kids? You know, if he doesn't even show his girlfriend's face when he's doing a dance with her, why would he reveal anything else? I'm not saying I am married. I'm not saying I have kids. Let's just leave that mysterious, though. You know what I mean? But I feel like the part of the true Stephen is a privilege. For you to get to know the real Stephen is a privilege. So I'm not going to show that to the world, because only a few people who really know me gets that privilege. So if you don't have my phone number in your phone, you shouldn't have a problem with me, man. It's not that deep. You know what I mean? Because like I just feel like a lot of times people just get so stuck up in a lot of things. I'm just like, the real people know me. And that's all. I just want to be known for I don't feel like my work, they need to see the full me. And also like with the crying thing, like don't get me wrong, I cry. I just choose not to cry. I feel like if you cry, you got to cry in front of your boys. That's how I've always been. I feel like men should only share their emotions to their boys. That's why having a brotherhood is so important. This is why having a brotherhood is so important. And you might not have brothers, but create a friendship or join like something like Man Alive, Upright Man, or, you know, or like if, you know, in your Destiny Church, they have Man Up. Join something where you have a brotherhood, a camaraderie. So if you're going through pain as a man, go to your boys. I feel like we have been chosen by default to be the man in the household. So as much as you want to cry, don't cry to your wife. Now, people might disagree, but I just feel it. You are supposed to be her rock. You know, I never saw my mom cry when she was looking after 6 kids. And I would ask her, when I said, why did you not cry or show weakness? And she said, because I had to stay strong for you guys. So as a man, I feel like you just have to stay strong. You know, just got to stay strong. Like, I would stand next to the gravesite while my sisters and that are crying. And I want to cry so bad and break down, but I'll stand strong for them. Once I go home, then I'll cry. It's my duty as a man.
Man, Stephen, also, you know, when you're saying this, I don't know, and maybe you can jump in as well, Kingston. Also, I'm hearing this, and I know a lot of people are going to get, come on, Stephen's just saying things. He's just saying this and that. It really, but I believe you also.
Yeah.
I believe you. It's not one of those, okay, maybe Stephen's just saying this for the sake of staying.
Name how many times your dad has cried. Name how many times your dad has cried. Whenever your dad, have you noticed that whenever your dad cried, it was like, oh, it was amazing. When your dad cried, it was like, shit. Fuck. Like, you always see your mom cry. I was talking to this one girl that said she never saw her dad cry until his wife died. Until because her mom passed away, and he was still alive, and they were married for over 40 years. That was the first time she ever saw her dad cry, and she will never forget it to this day. Because the tears of a man is powerful. It's powerful, man. So if you're just constantly crying all the time, are you even a man? You ordained to pray? Doing the mentality? The only time, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, and I'm not saying that a man should hold on the emotions, see, because I already see the arguments. So you're telling them just to be holding on their emotions, and no. I'm saying have a brotherhood, have a camaraderie. Like, if I'm ever sad, I should go straight to the boys. I'm just like, fuck, man, I feel like shit. That's what I'm saying. And then some of the boys will even say, let it out. And I'll be crying in front of the boys, and then they'll be like, you all good now? And I'm like, yeah. Like, yeah, get the fuck out of the house. Like,
get lost now. Get
lost now. I shared my feelings to my brother the other time. He was there comforting me. As soon as I finished, he goes, stop being a faggot, get out. And that's it. I'm a man. That's it. You are a man for a reason. If God wanted you to be a woman, he would make you a woman. He made you a man. And with a man, it comes a duty to be stoic and to be strong and to be the rock for everybody. Like, if somebody bullied your sister, I don't care if you can't fight. As a man, you need to fight. If somebody bullied your sister, you need to fight. You need to stand up. You need to fight. You are a man. And now the fighting doesn't necessarily mean physical, but you have to stick up for them. You have to stick up. You're a man. Even if you're scared, I don't know why people are saying these opinions are bad. They're saying it's toxic masculinity. What are you talking about? These have been the principles since the dawn of human time. It's only until 15 years ago we've summoned this whole woke generation. You know, back 10 years ago, when you used to go on a date, you would say, yes, I'm seeing this girl. Now, if you go on a date, you're like, oh, God, I pray it is a girl. You don't know what it is. It's a crazy world we live in.
They get cancelled.
You have to slide that in. Throw that in. Oh, also, man. Also, listen, obviously, it was just organic. Tonight was reflection, reaction, and organically having the conversation. I feel like we just got more than what we bargained for. Also, just hearing some of your stuff, Stephen, Kingston as well, and I admire. I do. People might say, "Man, this guy's a guy. Why does he get these guys on?" And I tell you, you know why?
A little bit.
Yeah. You know,
I didn't realize it was like that.
You know, also to go back on, sorry, can I throw this out real quick? Also, Like the reason why I said you got to be a man regardless, because I believe there are gender roles for a reason. Now we're not going to go into a whole situation of gender identity or whatever, but I just believe there are certain roles as a man that you have to do, and there's certain roles as a woman you have to do. Now my girlfriend, she cleans and cooks. I don't have to cook. Can I cook? Yes. Can I clean? Yes. But I don't have to. That's her duty as a woman, and she will do that. And any woman that complains and says, nah, but that's not fair, he can cook and clean. Okay, well then I'll ask you this question, woman. When there's a knock at your door at 4 a.m. in the morning and you and your husband are in bed, who do you expect to go and answer the door? Is it your husband or is it you? Does your husband go, oh, babe, but I'm scared. I don't know who's at that door. You go and answer the door. There's just some things that a man has to do, and there's some things a woman has to do. The man has to go and answer the door. The man has to change the tire. The man has to drive the car when you're on a windy road and it's thunderous. There's certain things that a man has to do that you can't, there's non-negotiables. Anyways, guys, we're going into it.
No.
Would you agree as well? Would you agree?
So this goes a kickboxer.
Yeah. That also agrees. He agrees with. That's why I said me and Kingston has a lot of agreements. Because I find it interesting when a girl says, oh, but my man can clean and cook too. Okay, well, have the same energy then when an intruder breaks in the house and your man goes, well, you can also fight as well.
Man, can you only imagine like if she toasted up the guy?
Bitch. Yo, bitch. Oh, man.
Yeah, man. Nah, I'm glad
this is cool. I enjoyed the conversation. I do, like I said, I just love it. Obviously, you guys have been here 3 times now. And just obviously by yourselves individually, obviously with the first Mandate Ammend episode and then this time around. Also, and people are going to say this. They're going to say, man, this guy needs to push back one. What is Steven saying? What is Kingston saying? You're going to get a lot of disagreements. People are going to say, this is my stance and this is, and so forth. And I can guarantee you the comments are going to be flooding. Oh, what is this? This is nonsense. But
yeah.
For me, the reason why I appreciate what you guys say and what you guys do. I know there's a difference of opinions, and I might not agree with everything that you might add, but I do appreciate that you guys stand on your convictions. I really appreciate that. That regardless if I agree or disagree, that you stand on your convictions. That, hey, that's just Steven. And I respect that. That's just Kingston. I respect that. And so we can agree to disagree, but we still are civil. We still can have a conversation. We can still love on each other. And we might not necessarily agree on everything, but you can't fold the fact that you guys stand on your conviction. They will hate on you. They will hate on me. But you stand on your conviction, and I guarantee you this, people just respect that. Respect that. And so for me, also mad respect for tonight, mad respect for coming to make amends, mad respect for, even when you didn't want to, Kingston, like, man, I don't want to do this. But mad respect for saying, hey, listen, we don't have to resort to that. And mad respect for you, Steven. Man, Steven, you both, I don't know how you guys do that, do what you do. And in the midst of all of that stuff, all the hardships and the craziness and the adversity, people were hating on you, you are still here, you're still pushing out and ushering out content. And man, I see this and I look at this, the image here, you guys hugging it out. And people, and someone says, hey, nah, I can see in Kingston's eyes. Nah, it's not real.
So all I see is Kingston's fingers are red.
People say, you know it's tight when it's red and yellow, bro.
Yeah. All I see is like he's going, Sully, it's gonna.
Oh, like, Sully, don't breathe. Not yet.
Sully. And the thing is, obviously we took it about reflection, reaction, but I think what needs to be added as well is the celebration. Obviously, we've added some other things in the mix, and just love the conversations and what you both bring. But the celebration, because a lot of people are saying, this is fake, this is made up. These guys had this planned ages ago. This is just rubbish. But I want you to guys go look at this image. And I know the production guys are going to put the image on anyway during the actual episode. Tell us this, and from the horse's mouth. You look at the cameras, you tell these people who may be saying, no, this is all rubbish, this is bullshit. Tell them, this is real.
Yeah. Now, I felt the lightness of Kingston when he hugged me. When I tell you, I felt like a weight off his shoulders. Like that, there's no better expression in that case and scenario. I felt like it still would have went. Knowing me, I would have not stopped. I would have kept going, which would have then made his wife more angry at him, or more angry and saying, man, you could have solved it. But it just went even more, and it just drags and drags and drags. So I felt like when we hugged it out, in a way, I felt like you were just like, fuck, it's done. Like, right? Would you agree? You just went, shit, it's finished. It's like, fuck, I can put that shit to rest now. And I felt that. And I even felt it too. I was like, bro, finally, man. It's done. Like, it's over. But that's what I felt in the moment. I just felt like it was over.
Yeah, exactly the same, man.
Yeah.
Just, you can just tell by my fingers, man. Like, that's like I don't know if anybody's ever given a person that kind of hug where it's like those grippy hugs. Like, you don't know where you're going to see that person again. And it was those ones where, like the last time I see Steven. So that was me giving him that hug. Like, bro, whatever happens, bro, like, this might be the last time I get to see you in the flesh, because that was the first time we actually saw each other in the flesh.
Wow.
So, like, that hug is like a reminder of from my dad, when my dad gave me a hug, that I don't know when I'm going to see you again. Same thing with Steven there, and that picture is like everything's already done. We're going to go our separate ways, bro, but that's the kind of hug where I, like, be safe, because we just don't know when we're going to cross paths again.
Yeah.
So it's,
And it's so funny because people still try to paint a narrative from what they see. Like, they say, look at Kingston's eyes, or they say, oh, Steven is probably like, you know.
Those eyes, bro, those are eyes where, like,
relief?
no, not like relief, but more like, fuck, I didn't realize I had that much shit on me.
Yeah.
Like, because people see me, they see the eyes, they're like, look like Kingston still want to book him. I'm like, bro, that's my face every day, though. Like, I have an IBF resting bitch face every day. But on that night, bro, it was more like, I just can't believe I had that much baggage on me. Like, 5 years, bro.
Bro, I felt it, bro. I honest to God, like, because I can only imagine, because I know it bleeds into the house, because I'm a recipient of that. When something hits me, not only I feel it, but my family feels it. So I knew when I hit Kingston with my hit piece, I just knew it wasn't the fans that got to him. It wasn't what I was saying that got to him. It was the reaction of the stuff that he had to deal with his wife. And like I always say, opinions matter from people who you love and respect. So Kingston can block out everyone. But the problem in his household with his wife hitting him. So when I hugged the Uso, I felt like it was like gone. Like it just been like a release. I literally felt it like it was a sense of release. But yeah, I feel like we're in that same lane and we've always been in the same team. And I'm just glad it's over too, bro.
Cool,
so like, bro, I'm 33. I'm about to go into 40. Like, I'm in my 30s, bro. We don't want to keep fighting, man. Like, we've just gone to the point now, man. It's just like we just want to make money and, hey, just want to make money, bro. We want to make money. Like, we don't want to fight, bro. Like, it's enough of this shit. Like, I'm over it. Like, even with this whole girl thing that me and her are going back and forth, bro, I'm over it. I'm honestly over it because it's actually draining. Because it goes on and it goes on and it goes on. What I've experienced, that usually goes on for about 2 weeks. So for 2 weeks, you're in this mental asylum where you're constantly getting berated back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And it's just a whole 2 weeks. And it's just annoying. You just get to the point where you're just like, oh, fuck. Who has time for that? You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's cool.
And the thing is, your family usually already annoyed with your TikToks. I can guarantee that some of the people that he loves annoyed with his TikTok, and some of the people are annoyed with my TikToks. So when a situation blows up where they get involved, when they get involved, they go like this. I told you to, this is why I tell you to not be doing this sort of shit, because now we're involved. And then they'll say something like this. I don't care if you get fucking drama, but don't fucking involve all of it. You know, it goes into that. And it just, it's just crazy.
Man.
And it's funny because he can relate to it because we have to deal with that nagging stuff that comes, and we're just like, fuck, man. And then you're trying to solve that, but then your person that you're going back and forth is still firing away. And you're like, shit, man, this needs to be stopped, eh?
I'll tell you also.
Would you say what I'm saying is true also?
but listen, but you can't deny obviously the image, and people are gonna watch this on the episode. But it was beautiful for me sitting there and watching you guys do that at the end of the conversation, and watching you guys hug it out, and just, oh man, that's powerful. And I want to express and emphasize that it wasn't fake; it was real.
No, it was real. It was 100% real, guys.
It was real.
100% real.
And I want it to be the main thing is that you were able to squash the beef. It wasn't something fake. It wasn't something that we just made up. But it was real, and just the power of two men who had a public fallout come together and just say, hey, this is sorted out, and let's sort it out as men, real men. And that's powerful in itself, brothers.
And just a big shout out to you, bro. I give you flowers, bro. Big shout out to you also, because you didn't have to do this. Let's be real. Like, appreciate you, man. And that's literally, the epitome of mandate, eh? Men being men. And I love it that you reached out. And got us on here, and got on you, bro. And thank you.
No, thank you guys. Thank you. Obviously tonight was, we've added some stuff and added some spice, and Stephen, you got to do your, bro, it's just Stephen. This Stephen and this Kingston. It's just, I love it that you guys are just yourself, and regardless of where we go in the conversation and what we've done tonight, but I do want to emphasize and reinforce that, man, you guys are, the things that you do, and I'm speaking from my heart, and I know I'm still one of those things that I'm just going to say for the sake of saying it, but the way you conducted yourselves on that night, and for you to carry on and do what you do, it speaks volumes. For me, it's like, man, these men, who you guys come out here tonight, and to have the compassion and the love for each other right now, but also for the mahi that we do our mandate, it speaks volumes. And regardless, like I said, we're going to get it, eh? You're going to get the, a guy, rubbish, lies, whatever. Yeah. But they can't deny that you stand on what you believe in, your values and convictions, and you won't budge, which speaks a lot about you guys. Even if they disagree, even if they don't believe what you're saying and whatever, but you stand on what you believe in your convictions, which says a lot in terms of who you are as a person, but as a man. And so Usos, thank you very much for tonight. Thank you for the talanoa. Thank you for the reflection. Thank you for the reactions, looking at the videos. But more so, thank you for the celebration of two men coming together and doing what I believe is right. That our people, our men in general, our young boys need to see this is what it looks like when real men get together and sort things out and not resorting to violence or throwing shade or dirt at each other. This is how it should be. And this is how we need to amend issues that we have. And so, Maro, love it, Usos. Appreciate you guys. Love to you and Nikki, and and also the fight that's coming up next month, and the business. Stephen, bro, you know it is also, just, and the slogan, that's the slogan also. Leave Stephen alone. Just leave. For those of you who think they're bold enough and say, I'm going to take him on, just leave Stephen alone. Yeah. And so also mad love to you both. Mad love to you both. Mad respect to you both. I do love us for, and Godspeed. And Godspeed. And hey, also, Stephen, I don't know, man. You say this is your vacation, but man, I saw the launga and you're preaching. Maybe, just maybe, also. I don't know. But appreciate your time. And my Lord lover, guys, once again, Mandate Ammend, and to these amazing men, Kingston, Kissthefloor, and of course, Stephen Setu. Thank you.
Thank you so much, man. I appreciate it.